But that never fit the way I am. Daddy said, son, one day you'll see this road ain't life, it's a fantasy. I tried my best to play it straight, but the horizon kept calling my name. Every mile marker looked like a sign saying there's a bigger word outside. Ain't no fence on me, ain't no chain gonna hold this heart. I've been chasing open skies ever since the very start. You can draw your lines, you can tell me where to be, but the wind knows something you don't know. Ain't no fence on me. I worked oil rigs and county fairs, played 6-string songs for strangers there, slept beneath stars and neon lights, found trouble in a few good nights. I've loved a woman, left a town, watched a few bridges burning down, but every road I've ever seen led me somewhere I was meant to be. Some folks settle, some folks roam, I guess the highway became my home. Ain't no fence on me, ain't no chain gonna hold this heart. I've been chasing open skies ever since the very start. You can draw your lines, you can tell me where to be, but the wind knows something you don't know. Ain't no fence on me. I don't need a map to find my way, just a little faith and another day. The world gets bigger every time I roll. That's the kind of freedom feeding my Ain't no fence on me, ain't no wall gonna stop these wheels. I got dust on my boots and fire inside and 1,000 roads to feel. When they write my story, let it say I ran free, with the whole wide world in front of me. Ain't no fence on me. Woo! house and a faithful wife. I spent my years chasing highway lines and songs that lived in my mind. Now and then when I pass through town, we laugh like no time ever slowed us down. For a few short hours we're young again, like the story never had an end. The miles between us disappear somehow. Every time we're standing here right now, we're brothers from yesterday. Still hear your voice when the band starts to play. Different roads, different lives, different towns along the way, but we'll always be brothers from yesterday. The years keep moving, but some things stay, like memories parked where the good times lay. No matter where this whole world takes me, you'll always be a part of me. We buried dreams, we built new ones, lost a few battles, still won some. And if I had the chance to do it all again, I'd ride those roads right beside my friend. We're brothers from yesterday, the kind of bond time can't take away. Through every mile and every change, some things remain the same. We're brothers from yesterday, and that's something age can never erase. When the final curtain falls someday, we'll still be brothers from yesterday. I rode into town with a promise to keep. No late nights, no trouble, no whiskey too deep. Just gas in the tank and a room for the night. Then I saw the neon glowing bright. The band was cooking, the beer was cold, the kind of place where good sense gets sold. And she walked in with that reckless smile, and every good plan died for a while. My brain said leave, my heart said stay. Guess which one won today? She's a bad idea, and so is one more round. So is that old jukebox, shaking this whole town. Every warning sign says walk away, every lesson says think twice. She's a bad idea, and that's exactly why. We danced till midnight, maybe 2:30, lost track of time like fools always do. She laughed and said, you ain't from here. I said, not anymore after this beer. Somewhere a bartender shook his head like he'd seen this movie before instead. The whole room knew what I couldn't hide. I was enjoying the ride. The smart thing left a while ago, and nobody asked it to go. She's a bad idea, and so is one more round. So it's turning up the music when they tell us to turn it down. Every warning sign says walk away, every lesson says think twice. She's a bad idea, and that's exactly why. Tomorrow's gonna have a lot to say signs. My boots ain't new, my truck ain't clean, but I still chase every crazy dream. Folks keep saying, slow it down, settle in, stay close to town. But every time I hear that tune, I feel 18 beneath the moon. The years keep moving one by one, but they ain't telling me I'm done. I'm still young when the speakers shake, still young when the back rows wake, still young when the tires hum and the Friday night lights come on, still young when the band plays loud, still young in a Saturday crowd. The calendar says what it wants to say, but my heart ain't giving age away. Got some scars and lessons too, a few bad calls I somehow made it through. Lost some friends, found some truth, but I never lost that reckless youth. When the sun drops low and the stars burn bright, I still feel that pull every Friday night. Like the road's got my name carved deep in promises I still gotta keep. I've learned enough to know one thing: you stop living when you stop dreaming. I'm still young when the speakers shake, still young when the back roads wake, still young when the tires hum and the Friday night lights come on, still young when the band plays loud, still young in a Saturday crowd. The calendar says what it wants to say, but my heart ain't giving age away. Oh! One day they'll park me in a rocking chair, tell stories about the miles out there, but that day ain't today, not by a mile. I've still got roads left to reconcile. I'm still young when the engine roars, still young when I walk through those doors, still young when the whole town sings like we're kings of forgotten things, still young when the moon rides high, still young and I don't know why. Maybe you think years you've won, maybe youth's just never being done. Yeah, yeah. Saw him standing on the edge of town, black hat, low eyes looking down. Wind blew hard through the cottonwood trees like it carried old secrets on the breeze. Nobody knew where he come from before, just a worn-out pack in a truck stop war. He never stayed long, never settled down. They called him Running Crow. Some souls are born with restless feet, can't be tied to a single stream. Running Crow, where you gonna fly? Chasing that horizon line across the sky. Every town's a memory, every road's a vow. You can't catch the wind and you can't catch Running Crow. Worked a week at the county mill, long enough to pay a couple bills. Then a freight train whistle cut through the night and something in him came alive. A waitress asked if he'd ever stay. He smiled and looked the other way, said the day I stop is the day I slow. Then he was gone again. Some hearts belong to the open land. Not a clock, not a wedding bell. Running Crow. Years rolled by like a desert storm. Stories grew and legends formed. Some say he's somewhere out west still rolling on. Some say he's finally found a home. But when the highway sings at night and the moon hangs low and bright, you can almost see those taillights glow. Just don't care. Boots on the floor and a cold one in my hand. I've been riding these roads since I was a young man. The bartender laughed, said, "You're late again." I said, "The highway's been my closest friend." Parked my bike beneath that faded sign, like I did 100,000 miles behind. Everybody's got somewhere to be, but tonight this old road's still calling me. Last call for the rider. One more song before I'm gone. Last call for the rider. But the road keeps rolling on. Raise a glass to the miles behind her, to the dreams that carried me this far. Last call for the rider underneath these Texas stars. Saw old photographs along the wall. Some names I remember, some I can't recall. Billy rode west and never came back. Johnny found heaven somewhere off the track. We were the faith while the world spun around. A radio in the kitchen, Merle on the dial. Hard times at the table, but we still found a smile. Learn to shake a hand and look a man in the eye. Learn some dreams live and some dreams die. From a little red house on the edge of town, where the good Lord built us tough and the rain came down. We weren't born with silver, we were born with grit. Had to earn every mile and every bit. I was raised on whiskey, raised on work, raised where a strong back came before a strong word. Raised on heartache, raised on hope, raised on the kind of faith that helps you cope. Raised on Friday nights and six-string songs, raised to get back up when everything goes wrong. I ain't perfect, but I'm still standing here. Raised on whiskey and a whole lot more than beer. Woo! First kiss happened underneath the county fair lights. First fight happened on a cool September night. Lost a few friends to the pull of the road. Some chased fortune, some carried a load. I've seen the skyline grow and the old bars close. Watch new faces come while the old ones go. But every time I hear that jukebox play, I'm right back where I came from yesterday. The years move fast, but some things never leave. They're written in your blood and sewn into your sleeves. I was raised on whiskey, raised on work, raised where a strong back came before a strong word. Raised on heartache, raised on hope, raised on the kind of faith that helps you cope. Raised on Friday nights and six-string songs, raised to get back up when everything goes wrong. I ain't perfect, but I'm still standing here. Raised on whiskey and a whole lot more than beer. It wasn't the bottle that made me who I am. It was the people beside me when life hit hard again. The lessons, the laughter, the scars and the miles. The reasons I'm still chasing these old highways. Roads and hometown teams. Raised on heartbreak, raised on pride, raised with the kind of fire you just can't hide. Raised on long nights and no guitars, raised beneath a million Texas stars. If you're wondering how I made it here, I was raised on whiskey and the people I hold dear. Brought them home from a distant road. Daddy fought his battles on factory floors, trying to keep food behind our doors. Now I'm standing where they stood before, looking at another kind of war. Same old pressure, different battlefield, different wounds that never heal. We swear we'll break the chain someday, then life finds another way. We're caught in a circle of war, round and round like the years before. Fathers and sons, hearts and pride, fighting battles deep inside. Every generation leaves its mark, carrying fire through the dark, trying to become something more than another turn in the circle of war. Oh. My brother and I used to dream out loud, leaving this town and making everyone proud. But dreams meet life on a lonely road, and sometimes the weight gets gets hard to hold. Now we argue over things we never planned, trying to understand where the other stands. Funny how love and anger wear the same face when you're running the same race. The enemy ain't always who you think. Sometimes it's the mirror staring back. We're caught in a circle of war, round and round like the years before. Fathers and sons, hearts and pride, fighting battles deep inside. Every generation leaves its mark, carrying fire through the dark, trying to become something more than another turn in the circle of war. Baby, peace ain't something you find, maybe it's something you decide. Maybe the strongest thing a man can do is stop passing the hurt on through. The circle of war, right here where we've stood before, taking the anger, laying it down before it gets handed around. Every generation gets a choice to raise a fist or raise a voice. Tonight we're reaching for something more than another turn in the circle of war. Somehow I ain't proud of every road I've had, but every good story started kind of bad. I'm running on bad decisions, running on borrowed time, running on a full tank of trouble and a half crazy state of mind, running on midnight promises and mistakes I can't take back. If bad was gasoline, brother, I'd never run out of gas. Crossing county lines, met a pretty girl and lost my last dime. Bought her a drink, she bought me a smile. We disappeared for a little while. The band was loud and the room was hot. Can't remember everything, but I remember a lot. Some nights are meant to be forgotten, some nights become songs. Every scar's got a tale to tell. Most of mine started way too well. I'm running on bad decisions, running on borrowed time, running on a full tank of trouble and a half crazy state of mind, running on midnight promises and mistakes I can't take back. If bad was gasoline, brother, I'd never run out of gas. One of these days I might settle down, trade these wheels for a piece of ground, but tonight that sounds like a plan for another man, and I ain't him yet. Hey! Still running on bad still chasing flashing lights, still finding trouble in places I swore I'd leave behind. Running on stories worth telling, the memories built too fast. If bad was gasoline, brother, I'd be built to last. Where we'd sit on hoods and make big plans, thinking this town fit in our hands. Tommy joined the army, Jake moved west, Sarah chased a dream she called her best. One by one they disappeared like summer rain, while I stayed behind and watched the change. The signs got newer, the faces changed, but I still remember every name. I'm the last kid on Main Street, still walking where the old ghosts meet. Every crack in the sidewalk knows my shoes. Every memory sings the hometown blues. The world kept turning, people moved on, but some roots grow deep and hold on strong. I'm the last kid on Main Street, still carrying yesterday with me. The theater's now a hardware store, the record shop ain't there anymore. The old ball field's grown over with weeds, but I can still hear echoes in the breeze. Sometimes I wonder what would have been if I packed a bag and left with them. But every sunrise over these railroad tracks reminds me why I never look back. Some folks leave and never return, some stay Main Street, still walking where the old ghosts meet. Every crack in the sidewalk knows my shoes. Every memory sings the hometown blues. The world kept turning, people moved on, but some roots grow deep and hold on strong. I'm the last kid on Main Street, still carrying yesterday with me. Main Street, still standing where the two-lane meets, watching generations come and go like pages in a story only locals know. The years keep flying, but I still see the dream